Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and welcome to another session of Not Perfect Zen. It is a beautiful Sunday morning here in the Houston, Texas area, and I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be able to share Zentangle with you. I've really been struggling with trying to decide what to show you today. There's two different patterns that I've really enjoyed playing with lately. Both of these are from the 100 Days of Tangling prompts that were given by Alice Hendon in the Tangle All Around Facebook group. And I'm just going to make an attempt to put them together in a fun way for you. The first one is O, which stands for Adele Bruno's son-in-law. His name was Oswald. And Bow.petal by Alice Hendon, CZT. And she's the one that runs the Tangle All Around Facebook group and has some Tangle All Around books that are awesome. But these are fun patterns. They're easy. And the pattern O, for me, is especially very relaxing. I enjoy drawing repetitive lines, which is why I like Zentangle. We're going to be using, as usual, a 3.5 inch Zentangle tile. You can use whatever you have on hand, any paper, scrap paper, sketchbook, other tiles, any color, whatever you would like to use. I'm going to be using a Micron 01. I might use my Micron PN. I have a graphite pencil. I have a kneaded eraser just in case, and a tortillon. Some people call it a blending stump. And I just keep this paper clip in there because I tend to push down too hard on this tip, and I can push it back out a little bit if I need to. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with our 4 corner dots. Yesterday, I actually taught a class in person with some friends, and that was a lot of fun. I hadn't done that in a while. Enjoyed it. Okay, zoom in a little. Okay, so the pattern O is simply, we're going to make an orb. We're not going to try to make perfect circles. And I'm going to start out making a fairly good size orb on here. Okay. And I'll go ahead and darken that in a little bit so you can see it better. And we're going to use that as shading anyway, so it's okay to make it just a little bit darker. But I'm not pushing down hard. I'm just very lightly making that circle so that when I decide to blend it, it will blend easily. And on the back, let me show you real quick what I mean. If I'm doing soft, okay, now I can come with my tortillon and blend that. If I did a harsh line like that, and then I try to soften it, see how you still have that harsh line? This is what we want. So that's what I mean by keeping this nice and soft. Okay, so inside of that, we're going to put another orb. Okay, very simple. And next, we're just going to fill this outside part of this little donut orb with lines. So as if we're coming from the center, these lines will all just go across here. Sorry. Okay, so we're just going to go around the outside of this and add lines. Sometimes I'll start here and kind of make my line just to make sure that I'm still lining up from the center, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep going around. You can make these as close together as you want. Okay, a little bit closer like that if you want, or make them a little bit wider. But I just enjoy the relaxation of making simple lines. And you can see that it's getting a little bit skinnier right here. Doesn't matter. My goal when I do Zentangle is to enjoy drawing something and relax. I try not to worry about what the outcome's going to be. Although, when I'm trying to figure out what to do for a video, I do try my best to come up with something that I think that you'll enjoy. Okay, so see how simple this is? We're just going to keep going around, making these lines. And again, it's like they're coming from the center, but they're radiating out just on this part. Okay, there we go. So we have our first one done. You can also do these a lot smaller as far as the size of your orb and how it varies. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to do another one here. Okay, but I'm just going to put a small orb in the center and then come around again. And as always, turning your tile. Keep your hand comfortable. Remember, this is for relaxing, so relax your shoulders, relax your hand. You know, try not to grip your pen too hard. I think I heard Rick one time say to hold the tip of your pen like you're holding a tiny egg, a tiny robin's egg. Okay, so we just keep coming out like that. So there's two different ways of doing that. We can do different sizes. I have to remember to put my pen down. I don't want to do my orb in ink. Okay, let's do another one. Size. Put your orb inside. I think this would be pretty if you used pastel pencils to color these, or use different colored pens to make your O's. Again, just focus on one line at a time. Don't worry about trying to make it perfect. This one is kind of odd. In fact, you can purposely make these different shapes, fill them in. I do like the ones that I've seen on colored tiles. I'm not worried about these being perfectly parallel either. This one almost looks squarish inside. That's cool. And then, like I say, just keep turning your tile and filling these in. And like I said, you could make these really close together, a little bit further apart, whatever works for you. Okay, so now I'm going to show you Bow.petal. And this may be kind of a combination on this tile, but I have really enjoyed playing with that one. That one, like I said, is by Hendon. And we are going to start with an orb. Okay, and we don't say circle because circle tends to make you think that it has to be perfectly round. These are just orbs. And in the center of this orb, I'm going to put like a little spiral, not very big. And then we're going to put a line down the center here, turn it, put a line down the center again. And then one of these we're going to divide again. One set. Okay? Now we're going to go around and do rounding. And that's just taking these corners and rounding them. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and come around this edge, makes it a little bit darker. Round this one. And I just like to follow that edge. Round that corner. And then you can always come back and soften these edges to make them look a little bit even more round since it's supposed to be a petal. I'm darkening that edge. And now I'm going to round this one. Come around again. And just keep going. This one again, to me, is very relaxing. I like simple patterns. Okay? So again, like you said, you can come back and round these off a little bit more. Till you get it the way you like it. All right. Now the next thing that she does is in these big sides, where these kind of look like a bow, we're going to add an aura inside of that one. All right. Going to do the same thing on this other side. And I started at the bottom here and then brought that around. Now, if you want to, you could add some little flicks of your pen to make these look a little bit more like petals. I like how that looks. All right, so there we go. And we can do that one even smaller. We'll see about putting one over here. And I'm not going to worry about going over my border. Okay, I tend to forget to put that little spiral in the center, so I'm happy with myself that I actually remembered. Okay, so we divide it in half, divide it in half again, and then pick one of these sides to divide again, and then do your rounding. And the fun thing about O when we get back to it is that the shading really makes a lot of difference. And that's how it is on a lot of our patterns, that when we add shading or color or other enhancements, it really makes it pop. Whoop, sorry about that. Now we're going to put our little aura inside of the bow side of this. Okay. So I thought it would also be fun to put one of these inside the O, just for fun. So I am going to carefully draw an orb inside. And I want to show you what I do if I forget to put that spiral. I get busy dividing. So many times I've done just that. Instead of putting that little spiral, I start dividing it, and then I chastise myself. Let's go ahead and do this one across here. So if I do that, which I have done several times, I go ahead and put an orb, but I fill it in and leave a little bit of a sparkle. Okay, so just can call it a variation. Now let's add our rounding. Just keep going around. So this morning I am going to a gem, spelled G-E-M, as in gemstones, gem and mineral show. And I love rocks. I love beads. I used to make beaded jewelry. It's been a long time since I did that. And mostly since I was a little kid, I have just loved looking through books that show gemstones and minerals. And so once a year they have this show, and I'll be going there later this morning. Okay. Just take your time and enjoy filling in these little areas. Okay, so now we're going to put the aura inside of this. And I'm going to put my little flick of the pen. All right. So let's go ahead and add another one of these, but I'm going to make it too big. And we're going to let it go behind, see what we think. We'll go ahead and go around this border. Okay, and with my kneaded eraser, I'm just going to go ahead and erase that because it's bothering me. And now we're going to do this one. So we'll just go ahead and let it kind of meet up as if it's going behind this other one. And I'm going to make this one just a little bit tighter lines so you can see how that looks. Like I said, occasionally I like to pretend that I'm at the center and I'm doing a straight line coming back out, and then I just kind of come back to meet this other side, if that makes sense. Because I'm afraid sometimes I'm not going straight out from the center. No, that's the perfectionist in me. And I don't need to worry, right? Right. Yeah, I like the straight lines. You could put a sparkle in here. And I just did a video on sparkle. Yeah, I didn't think about doing that over here. You could come back between a couple of these. Add a couple of sparkles. Above all, make this your art. Just enjoy it. Just have fun. And this one, I'm just making it look like it has gone behind that one. And you can see on this one that it's not an exact circle or orb. That doesn't matter. I'm going to slip one in here with a sparkle. And here. Cool. All right. So very simple tile. You can just keep adding more little flowers. We'll add one more bow flower here. Bow.petal. Okay. And we put a spiral in the center. Divide it. Divide it again. And then pick one of these to divide. Okay. And then we're going to round our edges. Alice Hendon has done several books. This is her pattern. And she has another book coming out soon with patterns from all around the world. And that's where her Facebook page is called Tangle All Around. And my pattern, Shamrukas, is going to be in that book. I'm excited. I submitted that pattern to Tangle Patterns, but I don't know if it's going to be put on that website or not. But for St. Patrick's Day, it's a fun pattern. Okay, so there's that one. We're going to put our aura inside. Couple of flicks of the pen for our petals. All right, very simple. And you can come back and add color, add other embellishments, maybe put a pattern behind that. But I'm going to show you how to shade O. And very simply, I'm going to put graphite just inside these lines, and then same thing along the outside where we had our original lines. I guess you could call it our string. Okay, and then come back with your blending stump, tortillon, and just soften those. And it starts to give you kind of a rounded donut type look. Okay. Awesome. All right, let's do that on all of these. And you can do both sides at the same time as you come around. And you could make it a little bit darker if you wanted. I do love Alice's books because there's so many patterns that I don't find anywhere else. I think a lot of them are submitted directly to her, and she gathers them and puts them into books. And I have a lot of Zentangle books. Okay, so now soften this. If you do this on a colored tile, then you can put white on that center, and that gives it a nice sparkled look, I guess. Has that highlight on top. You could bring this shading in just a little bit more. Okay, so just soften that all the way around. Excuse me. Okay, doing that one just a little bit darker. Often I tell you guys, just play what if. What if I do this? And that's how I came up with that one. Well, what if I put that Bow.petal inside of O? I'm going to go ahead and put the shading on this one. I like how this one is darker at the center because of our fine lines. And this would kind of have a shadow across here because it's on top. That one's on top of this one. All right, then soften those. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm bringing that one out just a little bit further so I can kind of show you what I mean about that highlight right in the center. So if you were on a colored tile, you could come back with white graphite or white charcoal. And even on this tile, you see that it gives it kind of a sparkle there in the center. Okay. But if you're actually on a colored tile and you do that with that white charcoal, it really makes it pop. Okay, cool. And as for the bow petals, I like to put some graphite down here at the bottom. And then you could, let's just do this. I'm going to fill in just very softly, putting some graphite on the inside for this bow. And then soften it. Okay, so that's one way to use your graphite pencil to add color. Gray is a color. Okay, so that's one way to do that. You could put graphite on the outside. And I'm still going to put just a tiny bit at the bottom of those petals. And then soften it. Okay. So, you know, just look at each of these and see what you think. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow at the top of these petals, just with what's left on my graphite pencil. And this one I'm going to do this way. Soften it. And then for this one, I'm going to do it like I did the other one. And again, just a little bit at the bottom. Soften it with your tortillon. All right. You could add as many of these as you would like. Just have fun with it. Okay. All right. Add your chop. And again, this is O for Oswald and Bow.petal. And this, of course, with Zentangle, there should be no up or down, but decide where you might want to have your chop. I think I'm going to put mine down here. Remember to admire your work when you're finished. Be grateful for Zentangle and your supplies and the Zentangle community. And share your work. I hope to see what you do. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, leave comments. All that helps other people to find my channel. And thank you again. I hope you have had a great weekend. I hope the week ahead is wonderful for you. And I will see you next time. Bye.